Hi, and welcome back to Live Well with Dr. Mel. I'm Dr. Mel, licensed physical therapist and holistic health coach. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You'll get access to all my free physical therapy tips and tricks. In this video, we're going to go through how to spin your baby from a breech position to head down to allow for a natural birth. I'm currently 30 weeks pregnant. I've already got approval from my doctor and midwife to start doing these exercises in order to turn my baby from a sitting up breech position to a head down position. So I highly recommend you speak to your doctor before performing these exercises. If you're cleared and ready to go, let's get started. So the first thing I wanted to go through is proper seated position. So it's ideal that you sit in more of an anterior pelvic tilt rather than a posterior pelvic tilt, because you want the baby's head to come in front of the pelvis through the canal. So in order to get into more of an anterior tilt, you want to sit on a couple of pillows so your hips are higher than your knees. So if you're somebody who at work sits at a desk or drives a lot in the car for work, I recommend adding some padding to your seat so your hips are higher than your knees, allowing this gravity to press the baby down and your belly to come forward, allowing for that anterior pelvic tilt position. Next, let's warm up and loosen the ligaments in our hips by doing pelvic circles. So this will allow the ligaments in our pelvis to loosen up before we do the exact techniques to literally spin our baby to get it in the head back down position. If this area is tight and constricted, the baby is not going to want to go down there. The baby is going to go wherever it feels like it has space and it's comfortable. So by doing these circles to loosen the ligaments, this will allow for the baby to head down to the pelvis area to allow for perfect positioning for a natural birth. So I usually recommend doing 10 hip circles to the right and then to the left. Let's next get onto all fours and do a cat-cow in order to continue to mobilize the area. So looking up towards the ceiling for cow, and then chin to chest for your cat position, sucking your belly button in towards your spine. Belly hanging, head up for cow, chin to chest, spine rounded for cat. And you can do this about 10 times and do it with your breath. The next exercise is bridge lifts. To make sure you're in proper position, bend your knees, feel for your heels. If you can touch your heels, you know your feet are in the proper position. If you can't bend your knees that much and your feet are a little further out, that's okay. And then once you feel like you're in a confident, comfortable position, press down through the soles of your feet, squeeze your glutes, and make your way as high as possible to your bridge peak, and then lower down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. And then you can repeat this 10 times, hold at the top for 3 to 5 seconds, and then lower down slowly. I recommend repeating it 10 times, 2 to 3 times a day. The next exercise is a hip flexor psoas stretch. When your psoas muscle is tight, you're more likely to constrict the baby into that breech position. So you may need a pillow for this exercise because your knee will be on the ground to provide a little bit more comfort. So place the bent knee on the pillow, bring the other foot in front, glide the knee over the ankle, allowing for a release in the front of the left hip flexor. For more of a stretch, reach the left hand overhead. I would hold this position for at least a minute. You can hold it as long as 3 to 5 minutes if you feel real tight. and make sure you repeat on the other side. So for the next stretch, you can do it on the sofa or on a bed. Come all the way to the edge so your belly's almost hanging out off. Be careful. If you need a chair or something here to stabilize so you don't fall off, go ahead and grab one. Take the top leg and put it into a 90-degree angle. Then allow your top leg to extend over the bottom leg, getting a nice deep stretch through your external rotators. You can stay here for about 3 minutes, get a nice stretch through the outside of your hip, and then you can repeat on the other side. For these final 3 exercises, you really want to make sure to consult with your doctor or midwife before performing these, because these will really spin the baby into the proper position for a natural birth. But if it's not a breech baby, it will also possibly spin it out of position. So you want to make sure you get clearance from the doctor before performing these exercises. So from a sofa, couch, or bed, you're going to get into a kneeling position. You may need a chair or a partner to assist here. Make sure you are safe when you get into your inversion. You can lower down towards your hands to the floor and then eventually putting your forearms down on the pillow. Tilt your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Drop your head in between your hands. As you come up nice and slowly, very carefully. Stay in that inverted position for at least 30 seconds. And I would perform this 2 to 3 times a day. So you can place the pillow on the top of the mat and you're gonna rest your chest on the pillow and your ear on the pillow, allowing your tailbone to come up towards the ceiling. And you can stay here for 3 to 5 minutes, or studies show at least 15 seconds, 3 times a day, you're 61% more likely to get your baby into the proper position. So studies show even a better position is to allow for the knees to open a little bit more and getting an assist from a partner with a blanket to press and lift the pelvis into the proper alignment. So you can go back in to your puppy pose, but this time you're going to bring your knees a little further back. And then your partner is going to place the blanket around your waist, just below your abdomen. So you don't want it on the belly itself, just above the legs, just below the belly. And then you're going to go back down onto your chest, and your partner is just going to allow a slight lift in the pelvis. And it's better just to have human partners. The puppy wants to be involved in the puppy pose. So the final exercise is the breech tilt. I'm in the position, so your feet are on the couch. You can use your cushions to get yourself in the proper alignment. Hips are about 12 inches above your head. You can either use your cushions or you can use, I've seen an iron board or even an exercise ball to perform this exercise. Once you're in a comfortable position, hips 12 inches above your head, you're going to stay here for at least 15 minutes. You can perform up to 3 times a day. I know that was a ton of information, and I don't expect you to remember it all. So what I did was make a PDF, and I attached it in the description box below. All you have to do is click on the link. Also for your information, at 28 to 30 weeks gestation, over 27% of women have a baby in a breech position. At 32 weeks, those odds drop down to less than 7%. And imagine if you perform these exercises daily, how less likely you'll be one of those 7%. God forbid at 35 to 37 weeks, you still have a baby in the breech position, ask your doctor and midwife about the ECV procedure. This is where they can manually use their hands to move the baby into the proper position to allow for a natural delivery. Well, I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed the content I shared, please subscribe to my channel. Also, check out all the different pregnancy yoga videos I have on the channel as well. See you next time.